Hey guys, sorry I won't be doing any GUI for this video, and if you notice this video is rushed, that's because I've been sick all week, and that's why this video is out late, so yeah, it's just going to be a quick rush video just to get a video out. So, I'll just get into the tips quick. Thursday night, tipping Richmond, no, what the hell, Wednesday night, tipping Richmond to beat Melbourne, because Melbourne seems so lethargic right now, like me. Richmond, they're overcoming injuries. They're injury battered, but, I mean, they had some good wins against Port Adelaide and Sydney, so I think Richmond win at the G. Thursday afternoon on Anzac Day, I'll be tipping Collingwood to beat Essendon. This is a toss of a coin. Both teams are playing well. Essendon absolutely smashing North Melbourne, Brisbane, Melbourne in previous weeks, while Collingwood had a smasher against Brisbane. I know they've had a few scrappy performances, but I usually know that Collingwood, they usually get the better hand of Essendon. So that's why I'm going to be tipping Collingwood. It's a hard game to tip because both of them are quite even, but I think Collingwood will win just. Friday night, I'll be tipping Port Adelaide to beat North Melbourne because they have been disappointing North. While Port Adelaide, they played a good brand of footy last week against the Eagles, which got them over the line. And I think Port are travelling better in general. Saturday at Metricon, Brisbane versus Gold Coast. I'll be tipping Brisbane because Gold Coast, they're still young. I know they had a few lucky wins, but last week, they got exposed against Adelaide, just showed them how inexperienced they were. Brisbane, they want to bounce back after two big losses, sorry. And I think Brisbane will get the job done against an inexperienced Gold Coast side. I think they're far more talented than they've shown in the last 2 weeks, the Lions. Saturday twilight, St Kilda versus Adelaide. I'll be tipping St Kilda, even after Adelaide's performance last week, because St Kilda themselves had a good performance against Melbourne. They played well against Essendon and are basically second on the ladder, 4-1. Adelaide 2-3, and it's at Marvel Stadium, so that's why I'll be tipping St Kilda. Saturday night at the SCG, Sydney versus GWS. Sydney have been nothing but boring, have been nothing but unpleasant to watch, disappointing. GWS, I don't know what the hell happened last week against Freo, but good game actually. But yeah, GWS, they're playing better in general, which is why I'm going to be tipping GWS for this week. Fremantle v Bulldogs at Optus Stadium. Well, after both teams' performance last week, Fremantle being arguably one of the premiership favourites, and the Bulldogs, well, losing to one of the wooden spoon favourites. That's why I'm going to be tipping Fremantle, although they better not get ahead of themselves. Sunday afternoon in Launceston, Hawthorn versus Carlton. Hawthorn, they played a good effort game against Geelong. I know they lost, but it was still a good effort, which is why I'm tipping them, because Carlton, well, they beat the Bulldogs last week. They got the ton, good job to them, but I think Carlton, particularly that Hawthorn are playing at Launceston. They play well at Launceston usually. Carlton a bit inexperienced still, so I'll be tipping Hawthorn. And lastly, at the Cattery, Geelong versus West Coast, I'm going to be tipping Geelong because West Coast, well, one thing they don't play well is they don't play well in cold weather, and if it's cold at GMHBA, then Geelong will use what Port Adelaide did to their own advantage. Geelong also on top of the ladder, flying. No, I shouldn't be saying that. They're on top of the ladder, comfortably, high. West Coast, yeah, only just in the top 8 right now. And I think Geelong will be able to beat West Coast well, because West Coast don't play well at the Cattery, whilst Geelong, well, apart from that buffer against GWS, well, you know, it's usually their home fortress, So, to recap my tips, I'll be tipping Richmond, Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Brisbane, St Kilda, GWS, Fremantle, Hawthorn, and Geelong. Now, because I didn't do any GUI, I'll just read out my NRL tips because I usually write them. Alright. Sydney, Melbourne, North Queensland, South Sydney, West Tigers, Cronulla, Canberra, and Parramatta. That's who I'll be tipping this week in the NRL. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.